Today we're going to look at some cool ways to use your whammy bar. Stop, hang on, got the wrong guitar. Today we're going to look at some really cool ways to use your whammy bar. Stop, hang on, sorry. Today we're going to look at some really cool ways to use your whammy bar. Hey there, I'm Owen Vickers from Guitar Mastery Method. We've taught tens of thousands of guitarists all around the world just like you how to improve their guitar playing. What I'm going to teach you today is some really cool ways you can use the whammy bar on your electric guitar. Whammy bars and Floyd Rose tremolo units, lots of different names for them. They're not just for making cool 80s sounds. They can be used for really expressive things. Guys like David Gilmour, Jeff Beck, you all use it really in an artistic way. And I'll show you a couple of those ways later. But let's go back to the 80s now, and I'll show you a couple of cool tricks you can do with your whammy bar. The first one is quite simple, just a dive. So we hit the open A string there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to push down on the whammy bar just to lower the pitch of the note. So if you have your whammy bar sort of almost parallel with the strings, or a little bit up, just so that you can get your hand to it easily. And just use it like a lever to move the whole tremolo unit forward to drop the pitch, and then return it back to pitch. One thing to point out with these whammy bar tricks is if your guitar's not set up properly, it may go really out of tune. So if you find that it's not returning to pitch properly, get it set up by your local guitar shop just so that everything's in good working order and you're not going too wildly out of tune, which can lead to drummers throwing drumsticks at you during a guitar solo, which you do want to avoid. The next trick we can do is pulling up on the bar, so pretty much the opposite of what we did with the dive. So as I said, basically that was the opposite of the dive. I just played a harmonic there at the 5th fret on the G, and then pulled up on the bar and returned it back to pitch. Always good to give it just a little bit of a waggle at the end there. Put some vibrato on it. Now, some tremolo units are not set up to come upwards. They might be hard up against the body of the guitar, so you won't be able to do this trick, so stick with the dive. But for the floating trems, you'll be able to go up and down the dive and the pull up. The next trick sort of combines the two together. This is a flutter. So play a note, and then what we're going to do is just hit the end of our tremolo bar with our finger like that. Gives a really cool sort of warbling effect. Our next trick is the ambulance. So to do this, all we were doing is picking the 15th fret on the high E string, pulling off to the 12th fret, and then we're just going to hammer on between those two notes while we slowly push down on the whammy bar. Just to sound like an ambulance or a police car driving past. Another way that we can make some of those crazy Eddie Van Halen type sounds is to play a pinch harmonic and then press down on the whammy bar, shaking it on the way down. Another cool one is one that I've seen Joe Satriani use before, and he calls this the lizard down the throat sound. What we're doing there is starting off playing a note at the 2nd fret on the G. We're going to slide up to the 14th fret. And while we're sliding, we're going to be pushing down on the whammy bar. So you're sort of trying to keep the pitch of the note. It's practically impossible to do. But while you're raising the pitch of the note by sliding up, you're lowering the pitch of the note by pressing the bar down. And then when we get to the end, just going to release the bar up, give it a bit of a shake. You can also use the whammy bar just to put some cool accents on the end of chords, like this song. So basically, we're just hitting that chord, a couple of dips on the bar. Another really cool 80s sounding technique is to play a chord while the bar is pressed down and bring it back up, like this. So what we're doing there is just holding down an E5 chord and then holding the bar down. Strings are quite slack. Hitting the chord and just slowly bringing the bar up to pitch. Another technique you can use is to scoop into a note, like this. What I'm doing there is just as I'm picking the note, which this is the 7th fret on the G, just as I pick it, just bringing the bar down, letting it come back up to pitch. For a little bit of extra Satriani and Richie Sambora type sound, one thing you can do is take this hand where it belongs and move it somewhere it doesn't belong, and grab the whammy bar and just hit some artificial harmonics with your picking hand there, and then just go crazy with the whammy bar. As I said at the start of the video, there's much more melodic ways that we can use this apart from just our cool 80s type sounds. Let me just switch guitars and I'll show you some of those. The whammy bar on a Strat style guitar can also be used for some really cool techniques. We can use them just to add a little bit of shimmer and vibrato to our chords. So all I'm doing there is just hitting a chord and then just giving a little bit of a subtle shake on the bar. Don't need to grip the bar too hard. I've actually got quite a loose grip, just using my little finger around the bar. Just gives a nice little vibrato to the chords. We can also use it to add a little bit of vibrato to our lead guitar playing. So that was the same technique there, just shaking on the bar a little bit, and it's really cool to add it to a bend. Just gives a different sound than using just your fretting hand vibrato. You can, of course, vary the speed of the vibrato. Faster vibrato or a slower one. It can also sound really cool to get a nice little shimmer to your harmonics, natural harmonics. I hope you enjoyed this quick trip through some of the cool 80s to now sounds that we can make out of our whammy bars and tremolo units. If you could just please go ahead and click the subscribe button down below, you'll see all of our new lessons coming up. In the description box down below, I'll put a link to a practice session cheat sheet. This is going to tell you exactly what you need to practice every time you pick up your guitar. See you in the next lesson.